Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, you find a way to lose. We talk a lot about a certain individual who seems to always want to take the attention off the fighter. That person is Floyd Mayweather. Everybody has something to say about Floyd Mayweather. His time is over. He's bigger than the fighter, blah, blah, blah. Whenever he starts talking, you put a microphone in front of him. Whatever question they ask him, somehow he brings the subject back onto him. Some truth to that, okay? There's some truth to that. Can't blame him though, right? Because all he did was box his whole life. So if you ask him to give you an example of something, he's gonna find a way to relate that example to boxing. That's what he knows. And it's gonna be about him because he's done so great. All right? But there's someone else who's always seems, I don't know why you put a microphone in front of this man. Don't get me wrong, I like to hear him talk sometimes because it's funny, but Big John Fury, he seems to want to take all the attention from his son. You know, both of his sons. You swear that he was a professional fighter. I have no idea why people want to hear from him, except for he's a controversial figure, and he's entertaining, he gets ratings. He's Tyson Fury's dad. He used to be a bare-knuckle brawler. We get it, man. He traveled around as a gypsy. He fought, and you hear the stories about him. He was a pretty rough guy. But at the end of the day, his voice, his opinion means nothing. So now you got David Haye, and I don't even know what the real beef is between David Haye and Tyson Fury, except they were supposed to fight and David Haye pulled out. Okay. But other than that, I don't know why it's a big issue. But anyway, John Fury doesn't want David Haye commentating the fight between Tyson Fury and Fury-Whyte. And he actually wants him barred from any commentary. So it's not that he doesn't even want him to be there hosting it. He doesn't even want him at the venue. And that's crazy. Now remember, David Haye, and when I think about this, right, maybe he's back in, because David Haye's back in White to beat Fury. So maybe it's because he and Fury had, some disagreements, not seeing eye to eye, issues with the fight not taking place. But also David Haye's father is Jamaican. And then Fury-Whyte is Jamaican. So there could be that kind of a common ground that they have where David Haye is going to support his fellow, brethren, you know what I'm saying? So that could be it, but I don't know. I'm giving the benefit of the doubt. But I do think Haye's a little off beam where he goes out and he says, the type of opponent that you need to beat Tyson Fury is a Fury-Whyte. He has all the attributes necessary. He says he can punch hard, he got cardio for days, not sure about that. He got the desire and belief in himself, that's true. I think White's going to pull off the upset. I think this is his opportunity. I think this is what he's been waiting for. And that's what Haye told one of these media outlets. Now, just hold your horses, David Haye. White's not going to do what Deontay Wilder couldn't do. First of all, Deontay Wilder could reach Tyson Fury because of his length. Fury-Whyte he's not going to be able to get to Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury's going to knock him out. It is what it is. Fury-Whyte's not going to be able to get in there and close the distance. He can, try to up jab and come behind with a looping right hand, but Dillian's strength isn't in his right hand. It's that damn left hook. And everybody knows it. And Tyson Fury's not going to get hit with that. He knew that the big right hand was coming from Deontay Wilder. And he was able to avoid it for most of the time. But Wilder has a very long reach, and he was able to get that right hand to him because of his length. White doesn't have that. So we got to put things into perspective. So when you think about what Haye's saying about White pulling off the upset, there's probably a little bit of emotion behind it. And I can see why John Fury would be like, look, he's already starting. Just bar him. I don't want him there. He's going to be a distraction. But you draw more attention to it by, throwing gas on it with your complaints. Leave it alone. It's just a little fire. It's like a little brush fire. You know what I mean? You got this thing turning into something where, acres and acres of shit's going to burn down. So I don't know why he just has to always get in the front of the camera and why people even entertain him, man. I just don't. It's crazy, man. And Fury goes on and he says that, David Haye shouldn't be allowed to comment on the show. He needs to take a back seat and stands where no one can see him. That's not going to happen, man. David Haye is more important than John Fury, to be honest, in the boxing community. Let's just be real. I've already made it quite clear to Frank Warren. He's not allowed to be commentating on my son's fight. Otherwise, there will be a problem. That's a threat. John Fury's always making threats. Always making threats, man. That's black and white. The nation can hear me. He's a hater. I don't want him near my family. That's the bottom line. They know me. BT and I will not be silent if he's there. So then make some noise and get your ass escorted out the venue. The man's too old to be acting like that. Like, yo, John Fury, stop acting your shoe size. You see, people at some point, especially as young men, when you're young, you're supposed to be a little stupid. You make mistakes. But this man had to be 60-something years old. What size is his foot, man? 12? And he acting his shoe size. Like, quit acting your shoe size, John Fury. Your son has to fight. Shut up and sit back and watch him fight. You know what? Make some noise about Tommy Fury. Because he's not as experienced. He's not as good. Come to his defense. Try to make sure you don't have any distractions there if he fights Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul will knock Tommy Fury out. And any additional distraction to detract from Tommy Fury's focus, that can be problematic. So that's where I would say, you know what, John Fury, I still think, no one should entertain him, but I can understand why he's kind of making a scene and protesting. But for Tyson Fury's experienced, man. You can't rattle his cage. Tyson Fury rattles other people's cages. But I get it, that's his son, and he wants to come and protect him, but from what? Somebody providing an opinion? Look at how Tyson Fury talks about people. Look at how you, John Fury, talk about people. But you come out here now making a big deal because David Haye said something that he thinks Dillian Whyte can win. That's his opinion. A lot of people think Dillian Whyte's going to win. The majority think Tyson Fury, but there's a lot of people think Dillian Whyte's going to win. And again, like I said, Haye and Fury were supposed to fight back in 2013. But Haye twice withdrew from the scheduled fight. So it is what it is, man. But Haye picked against Fury. And, the father just doesn't like it. He feels like Haye's just, during the broadcast, I guess, isn't going to be fair. But it's not going to matter because I truly think Tyson Fury isn't going to go in there and be stupid. He's not going to go in there and start getting into the exchanges with Whyte. We all know Whyte has something special in that left hand, just like De La Hoya had something special in that left hand. Zab Judah had something special in that left hand. Vic Darchinyan had something special in that left hand. If they hit you with that, you're out of there. Tyson Fury's not going to sit there and allow himself to get caught with that. And for Whyte to get inside, he's got to deal with Fury's damn near, 2-mile long reach. And it's going to be some severe consequences if he just comes in lunging in. Tyson Fury cannot box him, pick him apart, and eventually let his hands go and just get him out of there. And that's ultimately what I think is going to happen. He's not going to be stupid. And like he did and come now after defeating Deontay Wilder 3 times. Well, twice and 1 draw. Some people think he beat him all 3 times. And then, so come from basically having 3 fights with Deontay Wilder where he never lost and going into a fight with Dillian Whyte and lose the first time around. That's not going to happen. Now, I guess anything can happen. I just don't foresee that taking place. If you disagree, leave it in the comment below. But John Fury, take a chill pill, man. Anybody disagree, man, post your opinion, let me know. I'm not from London. I'm not out there in the UK. I understand that, when it comes to boxing and stuff like that, John Fury has an opinion on everything. If he doesn't like what you say, he's real big on loyalty. Sometimes he feels people should be loyal to him if he just comes and shakes your hand and has a little laugh with you. You can't say nothing that he doesn't agree with, then all of a sudden you're an enemy. Just at some point, that takes too much energy, man. To me, he just needs to relax. And David Haye's not worried about any of those guys. But I could see John Fury running up on him, making a big scene and a commotion. And we know David Haye, man. If you press him, David Haye hit you with a bottle. He'll glass you. Isn't that what he said? He glassed him. David Haye will glass you, John Fury. So you better leave him alone. But anyway, man, that's what's going on, man. Fury will face Whyte on April 23rd at Wembley Stadium in London. Next weekend, man. You got Spence and Yugas this weekend. The next weekend, man. Everybody make sure you get your Fire Stick or get pay-per-view. hook up with your friend, go down to the local bar, pub, wherever you need to go, man, and sports bar, and watch the fights. That being said, shout out to all the veterans. Thanks for your support. Like the video, please. Subscribe, please. I'd appreciate it. If not, I just appreciate you taking time to watch the video. And as always, I'm in the breeze.